there's always this type of people who drives fancy cars, very very fast cars. This Subaru STI. It was really far away. I can see, like, then I just moved to the right lane. And then somehow he was like, went berserk. He was like honking me like crazy. He was like, hey, what the hell? So that footage that you just saw was taken sometime in April 2018. It never made it to my channel. I never had the mood to actually edit the entire video or dropping that video on my channel because I was just too sick and I was really down due to fever, and it was a really prolonged fever. Now 4 months after that, August 2018, I am having a similar situation. Again, I am down with a fever and it sucks.
This thing right here is letting all the ladies know what guys talk about. You know, the finer things in life. Check it out.
Hey, what is going on, guys? How is everybody doing? I am back at it in my mini studio. Got a package today. It is semi-open because of customs. Awesome. Nice cat. All right. Just give me a second. Alright guys, I'll try to keep this vlog very short. I'm still not feeling well. I'm coughing really bad, and this vlog was supposed to be aired last week, to be honest with you, but I really can't do anything much for the past week since since the cough is really bringing me down, and the fever is still there, so not really feeling that well at all. But anyways, if you've been following my Facebook page, NakamaBN, you know that I've been preparing myself to test out the S Racing tires, because we have like a range here, and I've been trying to get my machine to work properly. So we have here my Yokomo YD2. I'm done with the geometry, the basic geometry, the toe, the caster, the angles and whatnot. Now I'm going into the springs. Alright guys, pretty much had scratched off the last bit of my footage. Was really being silly. I was doing it away from light, not enough lighting, and was pretty much talking at the back of my microphone at most of the time, so there's not much audio coming out from there. So anyways, what I was trying to say earlier on was that I've done adjusting the geometry of my chases, so giving the toe a bit of toe angle to the wheels, the alignment, and a bit of camber as well. So then the last bit that I wanted to do before I actually put on the S Racing tires would be the shocks. The shocks would consist of dampener with the springs, which is fixed to your shock tower, which is the top portion of this here, and then the bottom end would be fixed to your lower arm. So anyways, let's just go into a bit more on the shocks. This is a Yokomo shock system, by the way. So what would normally go into a shock system would be, number one, the spring cup, the cap, adjustment ring here. What goes into this body would be the shock oil, and there's a lot of choices that you can get out there, and choosing the correct shock oil is the most important thing, second to the springs, I would say. Okay, now let's get into the shock oils. There's a plethora of choices out there, and there's a lot of companies now racing to produce more better silicone shock oil. So these are the shock oils that you put into the body of the shock. Yokomo, and we have here Year Racing as well, and of course not to forget DS Racing. Oil ranges from as low as 50 or 100 if I'm not mistaken, up to 1,000 or more than 1,000. As a pointer, the bigger the number of the shock oil, the heavier the silicone oil is. So you can see they all come in the numberings here. For example, there you have this is 150 weight, and the unit for the shock oils would be in weight. So you have 150 weight, and then you have 350. I don't know if you can see that. That's actually 350 weight. And about this one, you have 450 weight and 350 weight. So that's the same one as that. So this is the arrangement from from light to heavier oil. So what it does is actually, in terms of the compression of the shock, so if we were to remove this, for instance, let's remove the springs again, the piston shaft of the shock body, inside there's a diaphragm and a piston connected to the shaft. So what the oil does is it controls the amount of the compression in the shock. So it's the rate of the compression that is being controlled here. So just imagine if you were to put like a very high number of weight of silicone oil, you are adding in heavy oil within the shock body. So what that does is you will have slower rate of compression and rebound, and then if you were to use a shock oil of say 50 100, that movement is less restricted, so you have a quicker rebound, and the movement is very light. So that is what the shock oils do to your shocks. Alright, so what DS Racing had done is they had developed two compounds that you can actually make to achieve the weightage of shock oil that you want to get. So instead of bringing along all this pack of shock oils here, there's a lot which could occupy a lot of space in your luggage. If you're traveling far or abroad, this would pretty much helps you out in that situation, especially when you don't really know the effect that you need from the shock. So this has a wide range of combination that you could try for yourself, a range from 100 weight to 1,000 weight. So how to deal with this is actually they had provided you with I don't know if you are able to see this clearly. I don't think so. So anyways, I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen on how you mix them up. So you have compound A, yellow in color, and compound B, red in color. So DS Racing had provided us with the ingredients. Let's take a 500 weight, for example. So for 500 weight, it says here you need to take 6 ml of compound A. Alright, they've also given this syringe, so it's easy for you to actually measure up your compounds. So they need 6 ml of this compound A and 4.8 ml of this compound B. DS Racing also had provided these 3 bottles here to mix those compounds. So that is as far as what DS Racing had done so far to develop this. they cranked up the technology a notch. So this is well worth trying, especially those who are on the move. Just make sure you bring enough bottles to mix them up and to store the oil that you created. For my setup, I will be using the latest addition to the DS Racing family, which is the RWD compound. What I heard is that this is a 1 CST or lightest silicone oil out there at the moment. It looks like very watery as opposed to oily. The biggest culprit that there is when you fill up shock oil will be the air bubbles. What I used to do is fill up the shocks, and then I would just move the shaft, the piston shaft, up and down, and whenever you move it either direction, you can actually see air bubbles coming off from the holes of the piston. So you can see the piston here, there's 4 holes here. The air bubbles goes up to the surface, and then I would just let it pop by itself. So I would stop until the air bubbles are gone. So that was the traditional way of doing it. This is a nifty product here by Ride. So what it does is that it takes out the air bubbles out of your shock. So this is a vacuum kind of like container. There's 4 positions for your shocks. That is where you put them, and then they comes with the suction thingy back into. So that's there. So what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna get the new DS Racing RWD compound.
A few moments later.
I think you have the idea on how to actually do this. Got my springs back on, so these are the 2 rear ends, and just to show you the effect of the of this shock coil, the RWD compound by DS Racing. It's super soft when you're pushing in. Definitely something that I wanted to try on track next. That's it for the time being. I've covered today the basics of the shocks. There's a lot more to learn, and I will probably share with you guys some of the links that you can have a look and have a read through on how to actually go about it. So sorry that I've been sniffing and coughing all throughout the vlog because I'm still sick. So I'll be installing the Phoenix LF4 wheels, and I'll be using Yokomo Racing Performer rims, 8mm offset for my setup, and that's how I would normally roll on my RWD machines. If you like some of the things that I've been showing here, especially on DS Racing, please do check out DS Racing's Facebook page, link down in the description below, and do inquire some of the things that you've been looking at. Make sure it's DS Racing products. So we have this RWD silicone compound. You also have this awesome 2 compound mix silicone oil, tires as well. The best, please do inquire them on how you can get these products. And for my wardrobe as well, the Ace Racing logo t-shirt and cap, you can get them off from the Facebook page as well. So please do check it out. I think that's pretty much it for the time being. Until the next time, peace.
Trying to get away, but they knocking at the door. Trying to run away.